Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Ooh, this is fun. So there we were, my husband and I, on the verge of another fight. I could just feel the tension between us. You know that feeling like when the train's gonna go off the track and you know a fight is coming? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that feeling, like, oh gosh. And everything in me just wanted to run away. I had done something that had triggered Jamin. That's our usual pattern. I trigger him first, and then I get triggered that he's triggered. And he went into his own trauma response. He had put his wall up. You could just feel his wall going up, and it makes sense. He was protecting himself. And then when his wall went up, guess what I did?
Your wall went up.
My wall went up, and I just wanted to protect myself. And so my way of reacting was to run away. I just wanted to get out of there as fast as I could. Now, this was a very strange moment that happened next for me. Normally, things would just escalate. Time would almost speed up. Be like, okay, now he's triggered, now I'm gonna respond, now he's gonna respond, and we're just gonna escalate until things explode. Been there? Yeah. But this moment was so different. I felt like Neo from the Matrix. All of a sudden, time slowed down, and I was like a Jedi, like, woo. And I could zoom out of what was actually happening, and it wasn't about the situation that we were in. I could see that it wasn't about me and it wasn't about him. It was about the pattern we were in, that we just couldn't get out of. We were feeling stuck. But it wasn't about me. I wasn't taking it personally anymore. And in this moment, I could see the hurt inner child that was freaking out inside of me. And I could see the hurt little child that was freaking out inside of him. And I could have compassion for both of us in our unique experiences. And I decided to do something radical. So instead of digging one in or running away, I chose to lean in. I chose to turn to him, even though I was really scared. I turned to him and I was like, hey, babe, I noticed that things feel a little tense. It feels like your wall is up. I really just want to be curious of what's going on for you right now. And take some responsibility for whatever I have done to co-create this thing that we're in. I just want to be curious. What do you need? Whoa. Everything goes back into real time as I watch him turn towards me with tears in his eyes, and as a wall is coming down. And we slowly began to find our way back into connection. So I want to invite you all today to this possibility that you can relearn love. Everyone in here already learned love. Before the age of 7, you had learned love and relationships. You had a model, what your parents and caregivers showed you, what society showed you. And many of us don't know that we're running this pattern in our brains without even knowing it. But we don't have to run that model. We can choose to relearn love now. My name is Eri Kardos. I'm a best-selling author, an international speaker, and the founder of a company called Relearn Love. And today I'm going to share with you some of the most incredible things I have learned along my personal and professional journey in working with hundreds and hundreds of singles and people in relationship around the globe. I've had some really unique experiences in my life, ranging from all the stuff on that fancy bio to other things, including joining the Air Force on a dare, Air Force ROTC, or traveling to over 60 countries, bringing our kids along with us on many of these adventures, learning incredible, incredible things from amazing teachers and coaches from around the world. Many of the times I've learned great things, it's because I needed to learn them for myself. I joke that, I wrote this book on relationship agreements, and I joke that not only did I write it, I wrote it because I've screwed up everything in that book. And so I've learned from experience, and I've had to go out and get the help, learn the new techniques, try the things that are a little bit weird and wacky so that I could find out what works for me, and then share it with others. And one of these stops along the way in my career was ending up doing leadership development at Amazon.com. Now, one of the amazing things I learned at this company was that as time and trust was established with my leaders, that people began to open up to me about what was going on in their home life, not just what was happening at work. And what I found was that it doesn't matter what your career is, it doesn't matter what your IQ is, it doesn't matter what you are passionate about in this career journey. It's like, what matters is that we're all still human, and what keeps us all up at night at some point in time are matters of the heart. And I had some of the most incredible executives in the world running huge companies who would admit to me that they would be checking their cell phone in the middle of a meeting to see if their spouse texted them after the fight the night before. Right? We're all human. And as they began to open up, I asked for consent. Hey, can I coach you on matters of the heart? I was already a certified coach at that point in time with a background in sexual psychology, and many of them agreed, yes, let's do that. And the coolest thing happened, you guys. As I started working with them on their relationship at home, they would come to work with more focus and more drive and more clarity and more joy, and that would ripple out into the rest of the company, into their teams. It was amazing. It would ripple out into their communities. And I watched their families change. I watched the organization change. And I was like, this is amazing. I just want to do this all the time. So I decided to go and take all these learnings about what can I teach about the bedroom and communication and intimacy to influence the boardroom, and what can we all learn through this whole process. So I'd love to share with you 4 big takeaways. Who's in? Would you like to hear 4 big takeaways? Yes? All right, let's do it. Here we go. If you have a pen, get it ready. All right. So the first one I want to share with you is that a lot of people, when they get into relationships, they eventually have all these big dreams, right? They have these dreams of, what do I want to do? How's it going to be? What are we going to create together? But then over time, things begin to not be exactly what they wanted. And maybe you'll try to shift it. Maybe you'll try to get your partner to change. Maybe you'll try to change a little bit. But things are sticky. And eventually, a lot of people just resign. They give up. They resign themselves. They're like, this is just how it's going to be. So I'm going to invite you to try something new. If that's the old school way and we're going to relearn love, the new school way is going to be all about curiosity. Okay? We're going to get really curious. And I'd love to teach people how to get curious. You can begin with that question that you heard me ask my husband. It was like, I want to be curious. What's happening for you right now? What do you need? Okay? Second one. Second point. Everybody ready? Second point. There is a global belief that I see everywhere I travel in the world that somehow y'all are supposed to be really good at love and relationships, even though it wasn't modeled perfectly for you, right? I know our parents and caregivers did the best they could with the tools they had. I firmly believe that. And we live in a different time. We have Google, which is super helpful most of the time. We also have incredible couples research. We have tools that actually work, and we know what really works. So you need to go out there and cultivate knowledge, the tools that actually work, and start living those. Third, I see a lot of people, when they learn the tools, they begin to get frustrated that they're not just instantly working. Remember, you've had decades of this training of how not to do things in a way that are effective. So how are we going to be effective? Instead, we're going to turn to actually changing things. You're going to change. Change means you're going to implement all the tools that actually work so that they become a part of you. And what's really interesting is when you're doing this, you're actually helping heal each other's trauma if you're doing it right. Your partner's mess, you probably have the medicine for them. And guess what? They have the medicine for your mess too. So if we stick with it and we really go through the process of changing, it can be an incredible healing journey together that will give you such depth in your partnership. And the fourth one, when people make those shifts, when you finally get it right, when your partner uses the tool, when you use the technique that you learned actually works, and you see that reaction on their body, like my husband, right? He turned towards me when we could have exploded. But instead, we used the thing that works. And when that happened, guess what? that's when we actually celebrated. Whereas most people, they just keep that story of it's not good enough. It's not good enough, right? It's like, okay, we did the tool, but we didn't do it perfectly. We did the tool, but yeah, it was a one-off thing. No, we want to celebrate so we lock it into our systems. This is our new way of being. We relearn love. This is where the power comes in. So I want to tell you that so much is possible when you choose to relearn love. So much is possible for you to influence the next generation. If you have children, they're watching what you're modeling. If you have a community or in your organization, in your partnership. I encourage you to look at what is possible with the expansion of love and communication and good tools, healing trauma, being in partnership that brings joy and ease and fun. All of this is possible. So I'm going to give you one quick invitation from me. Invitation, AKA homework. Are you ready? Yes, it's all about relearning. So here's your homework for today. I want you to go home and take out a piece of paper, and you're going to write at the top, I feel seen, heard, and loved when. I feel seen, heard, and loved when. And then you're going to write out all these different ways. When do you feel seen, heard, and loved? Maybe it's, like for me, I feel seen, heard, and loved when my husband and I dance together in the kitchen. When I receive a compliment about my hair. When I get to sit down with someone over coffee and just talk and connect. So it doesn't just have to be romantic love. You can do this with your kids. You can do this with your best friend. How do you feel seen, heard, and loved? This is the beginning step to relearning how we express what's meaningful to us and how we find out what's meaningful to those we love and connect with them on that deep level. So this is my wish for you today. This is my wish for the world. That everyone chooses to tune in and relearn love. Thank you.